I think the problems fall into four buckets. The first is a cultural challenge that we all face, particularly around the risk aversity of Europeans, perhaps relative to, for example, Americans. Secondly, there's challenges around talent. We undoubtedly have wonderful talent in Europe, but perhaps it's not as mobile. It doesn't move to where the startups need it as much. Thirdly, and importantly, I think access to financial help, support is very different in Europe, and it's something that would really drive entrepreneurship. We need to make sure that the great web startups are fueled with the right finance. And finally, and certainly not least, is support, general support for these startups that are getting off the ground. Because there are less case studies in Europe that people can refer to, we have to provide an extra layer of support to help, enable those companies to flourish. Over the period of 8 weeks, we asked a community of many thousand people how to start supporting web entrepreneurs, how to help them grow their businesses. And it was a passionate topic for them. It was something they were incredibly excited to get involved in. They generated over 160 concepts through the course of the challenge. The concepts were very diverse. To give you some examples, to tackle the challenge of the different culture in Europe, the risk aversity, one community member came up with the idea of a conference to celebrate failure, to learn from failure. This is something we see in Silicon Valley already. Another community member came up with the idea of helping talent move more easily in Europe. She, from personal experience, recognized that it's very difficult to be a trailing spouse. When your entrepreneur partner gets a visa but you don't, it puts a huge strain on the relationship, and perhaps businesses don't get started. One of our community members also had an idea of how we might address the challenges regarding accessing finance by suggesting an entrepreneur loan scheme, similar to student loans, which help people get the confidence to make that start on a great business. And we also had broader ideas that actually thought through how to support web startups more broadly. One area that people thought was a real challenge was the legal regulation in Europe, the complexity. It's so difficult to navigate. So the community member came up with the idea of an online platform with a flowchart that helped you navigate the complicated legal world in each member country.